Jay here for Stretford, Paddock. This is the Paper Talk, and we're in the studio. Why are we in the studio on a Monday morning? Well, we're in the studio on a Monday morning because it was a bit windy and rainy, and producer Callum didn't want to get his hair wet, so we decided to do it in the studio. So just to avoid a bit of Manchester weather, really, a bit of Mancunian weather. No, it was a bit hectic out there this morning, so we thought we'll play it safe, I know, and come here in the studio. But the advantage of that is you guys can get involved in the comments, get involved in the chat, hit us up on the like button as well. And if you're not doing, subscribe to the channel. Loads of stories to get through this morning, including a bit of a fallout from the Leeds United game, the win over Leeds United, the 4-2 win, in case you didn't know. I'm sure you did. After a little bit of something untoward that happened to Anthony Elanga with coins getting thrown at his head, so there's a bit of fallout from that. We'll also be looking at some transfer rumours, of course, and looking ahead to United's trip to Atletico Madrid, where we could be handed a bit of a boost. So let's start with the Anthony Elanga story. There's a story in the report on BBC website. It's on ESPN. It's on quite a few papers and publications, to be honest with you, that the Football Association is investigating after Manchester United's Anthony Elanga was struck by an object thrown from the crowd in Sunday's Premier League victory at Leeds United. Elanga, 19 years old, let's not forget, he's a teenager, was hit by a missile as the visitors even celebrated Fred's 70th minute goal in the 4-2 win at Ellen Road. Yeah, I mean, you probably all saw the pictures, the video. Something hit him in the crowd. I don't know if it was a coin, what it was. Hit him on the head. Fortunately for him, he was able to carry on. Not only was he able to carry on, he's able to score. Not only was he able to carry on and score, he's also able to shush the Leeds United fans as he ran past them celebrating, which I loved, and then give a little point to the badge at the end as well. So the FA are looking into it. Listen, Ellen Road, I've been there. It's not a nice place to go to as a fan, let alone as a player. I can only imagine what they go through. But shouting things at players is all part and parcel of football. Throwing things at him isn't, especially throwing things at a kid as well, because he's only, 19-year-old. I mean, you shouldn't be throwing him at anyone, but targeting someone like that, if they even did target him, they just throwing it in general, to be honest with you, at United players. But yeah, it's not good. So they're getting investigated. We'll let you know if anything happens about that. It might just be a fine, a slap on the wrist. Who knows? But just goes to show, doesn't it? How many times have we had fans in the ground for United versus Leeds in the Premier League? Is that the first time in about 17 years or whatever it is, where we've had a capacity Ellen Road and it all kicks off like that? So yeah, the FA will look into it, and we'll see if anyone gets the wrist slapped. Moving on to transfer stories. We love a good transfer story, don't we? There's a link with a youngster from Fulham, Fabio Carvalho. Now it says here, Man United target Fulham wonder kid Fabio Carvalho after Liverpool January transfer failure. Exclusive. Now this is from the Daily Star. You can decide whether you put much weight in that publication. I'll leave that up to you guys. Exclusive. Liverpool failed to sign Fulham sensation Fabio Carvalho in January, and now arch enemies Man United have stepped up their interest in the teenage star. So, stepped up their interest. It's one of those sort of sayings or phrases that we use that can mean anything, can't it? It's like monitoring the situation. Stepped up their interest. Have sent scouts to look at. It covers a multitude of sins. Do you think we're going to get him? Do you think we're interested in him? Do you think we need him? All valid questions. The answer to that from me is I don't know. I don't know a lot about him. I'm not going to pretend I do. I do know you look at that and you think, oh, they've put in there that Liverpool were after him, and that sounds good. And it's not just the Star that have got it, to be fair. This is doing the rounds of a few other papers as well. But I don't know a lot about the kid, and I know he's just looking at his stats. He's played 16 games in the Championship this season, scored 7 goals. He's obviously very talented as a winger and attacking midfielder. And he's young, he's 19 years old. So you look at someone like that, you think, okay, I can understand why United will be interested in him, if indeed we are. And the added sort of bonus is, oh, Liverpool are interested, we could hijack that. But papers say that, don't they? Do you remember when Liverpool signed Luis Diaz? And then there was this talk of, oh, Liverpool have hijacked United's deal. Liverpool have stolen a march on United for Luis Diaz. And you think, hang on a minute, when were we linked with him? When did we show any inclination that we were going to try and sign him? We didn't. But people put United in a title and it gets clicks. People put United and Liverpool in it and gets a little bit more as well in terms of playing them against one another. So we'll wait and see. I'll get in some of the comments. Vernon Hartung says, good morrow, Jay. This Monday feels good after beating the dirty Leeds. It does feel good, doesn't it, when we beat? Do you know what? No matter how difficult things are, it's always like you can rely on Leeds to give us a bit of a boost, can't you? They always seem to help us, don't they? You know, we lost the title. We didn't win the title in 92. Leeds sold us Eric Cantona. That helps us out. We won it in 93, 94, 96, 97 with Eric, including, you know, double in 96, double in 94, in case you're wondering. We needed a defender. Leeds sells Rio Ferdinand, then we go on and win lots of Premier League titles and the Champions League, you know, the European Cup. They've never won, but they help us win it by selling us Rio Ferdinand. Quite nice of a minute. And then last season, you know, you need a bit of a boost, you need a win. Oh yeah, you can have a 6-2. There you go. Nice big win for you at Old Trafford. It's a shame. We've had a big win over Leeds and there was no crowd there. Don't worry about that. First game this season, Old Trafford, beaten 5-1. Got to love what Leeds do for us, haven't you? And they did it again yesterday. You know, they helped us out with a 4-2 win. So thanks for that. Mr. Daniel Salahay says, what's the weather report? It's absolutely, well, it was throwing it down earlier. There was winds everywhere. And we thought, we're going to go and do it at Old Trafford. You might not even be able to hear me, to be honest with you. So that's why we're indoors. Even though when it is raining and windy, that's typical Mancunian weather. Most of the time, you get the barbecue out in that weather, but it's a bit OTT today. Bit OTT for OT, so we're in the studio. Shall we move on to the Champions League boost story? So this is a news article doing the rounds, or a story doing the rounds, and it says Man United boost as Atletico Madrid have 4 injury scares for Champions League clash. Now, obviously, United playing Atletico Madrid in the Champions League on Wednesday away. And it says now, United have received a boost ahead of their Champions League clash with Madrid. According to reports, Ralph Rangnick's side go into the game knowing the tournament represents their last hope of silverware this term. Yep, it does. And then it goes on to say that, you know, United have sort of... how United have been getting on. Obviously, we've had a couple of big wins. Well, not big wins. Well, one big win and a solid win over Brighton. It says Diego Simeone's side are already without Yannick Carrasco, who will miss both fixtures after being sent off with their match with Porto last time out. And it also says, and now Thomas Lemar, Benjamin Lecomte, and Daniel Vass and Mateus Cunha are all doubts for the game as they miss training over the weekend. Anton Griezmann may feature, however, having only just returned from injury after being sidelined since the middle of December. Then goes on to say Atletico will be no pushovers. I mean, you can read into them. All those players could be out. Or they could all feature, apart from the suspended lad, obviously. So it's how you take that. Do you take that with a pinch of salt? Do you think that is something there we can look into? You just don't know, do you? It's like people looking at Atletico's form, because obviously they had a bit of a bad result, didn't they, not long ago? And people going, oh, you know what, Atletico, the wheels are coming off, or that's a massive boost for us because they're not playing very well. And then you think, well, okay, the Champions League, all bets are off. Do you know what I mean? You can't look too much into it. They beat Osasuna out last time out 3-0, so decent win. I think it was the week before, or the game before, they lost to Levante at home 1-0, which was a bad result. But, like I said, domestic form, it isn't always a strong indication of how a Champions League game is going to go. Even in terms of the Champions League tournament fully, you've seen teams that have struggled domestically, you know, like Chelsea and Liverpool when they've won it in the past. Liverpool finished, 5th one season and they won the Champions League. Chelsea finished 6th one season, won the Champions League. Finished 4th another season and won it. It can happen. So you can't always look too much into your league form. And also your injuries. You don't know the full extent of these injuries. We don't know how severe they are. Even if they are proper injuries, it just seems like they've got a few worries there. And hopefully, I don't wish teams have injuries, but hopefully United, no matter what team we face in Madrid, can turn up. Because I think if United turn up, we'll beat anyone. I think if you look at the way Paul Pogba's playing at the minute, if you look at the way Bruno Fernandes is playing, look at the way Jadon Sancho's playing, I don't think any team can stop those players when they're on that type of form. They looked amazing against Leeds. They really did. All 3 of them were outstanding. And I think if they take that kind of form into the Atletico game, yes, Atletico Madrid have got some good players, but I don't think they've got players that are too good for Manchester United to cope with, or too good for Manchester United to cause problems. If we get any form of positive result in Madrid, I fancy our chances in this tie. I think the main thing is we don't lose. I think if we lose that game, then it could be difficult, because Madrid will come to Old Trafford, and we know what a Diego Simeone team is like. They can defend like their lives depending on it, and it could be a frustrating evening. So yeah, go to Madrid and don't lose. But when I say don't lose, I don't mean we go there and we just play for a draw. I think if we play for a draw, we're in all sorts of trouble, because I don't think United can play for a draw, to be honest with you. I think our best, it's a cliche, our best form of defence is attack. Get at him, get a goal, and away goals don't count, but goals still count. So get at him, get a goal, and then make them work for any sort of result whatsoever. Let's have a look at some of the comments. Let us know what you think about the Atletico Madrid game, about Fabio Carvalho, about Leeds United and the charge due to Andy Elanga getting hit. Any of that. As well, don't forget to hit the like button. 76 likes. Come on, let's get to 200 likes before we wrap up. Come on, man. We can do this. We're not going anywhere yet. Hit that like button. Give us a like. And if you're not doing, hit the subscribe button as well. We'll put a subscribe link into the chat. So hit the subscribe button. We want to get to 650,000, is it? 700,000 subscribers by the end of the season. 650,000 by the end of the Champions League last 16 ties. And then 700,000 by the end of the season. Starlord says, Sancho's looking decent. He's looking decent, isn't he? Ibim Taria says, Sancho proving his doubters. Manchester United highlights says, Sancho is on fire. Matty Lovett says, Jay, you absolute legend. Right back at you, Matty. Atletico are basically the Spanish United, says Nick Hill. Jake Oriadon says 700k. Yep, there's the subscribe button in the link. You can see it in the chat. Sorry, the link in the chat. Let's hit that button. Let's get 700,000 subscribers by the end of the season. We could do it. Nick Hills also says, morning all, still buzzing off the throwback yesterday. Ragnick shouldn't be overlooked. That's a good question, Ad. Do you think Ragnick could be permanent manager? I've always said I don't think so. If he wants to be permanent manager, one thing he's got to do is win the Champions League. Then we'll talk. But yeah, I liked yesterday's game for a multitude of reasons. Not just the result, obviously, but the way we battled back after we conceded those goals. The fact that everyone was up for it. When it kicked off, you saw all the United players heavily involved. You saw when Junior had a go at Elanga when he fouled him. Sort of thought he could give him a bit of grief when he was on the floor. Every United player almost, I think practically every outfield United player rushed over and got involved in there and stuck up for the kid, and that's what you want to see. It annoyed me when we played Liverpool at Old Trafford and it kicked off between Van Dijk and Ronaldo and a few others, Kanate and Andrew Robertson, and there was only Bruno and Fred who always gets involved, only Fred, who wanted to know, you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be letting teams come and try and bully you and try and show you, that they're the bigger or the stronger team or whatever, or the more, ballsy team, if I can use that word this early in the morning. You should be able to stick up for yourselves, and that's what Manchester United did against Leeds. And I know it's not the be-all and end-all, but it's good to see. Shows that we've got that fighting spirit. I'm not just a passion merchant. You need quality as well. We've got the quality. We've seen that with the players that I mentioned, like Pogba, Sancho, and Bruno in particular. Not to mention a few others, including Anthony Elanga and Fred, who's very good. But having that bit of fight helps as well. Jack G says, morning, Jay. Which striker are you looking at for next summer to replace Ronaldo? In an ideal world, we'd get someone like Erling Haaland, would we? I know Joe's sort of worried about his injury record, but I don't think we will. We could say we could go for Harry Kane. There would have been a time when Manchester United would have been all over that. You look at the players who've had off Spurs before. We had Teddy Sheringham when he was the best striker. We had Dimitar Berbatov when he was their best striker as well. So, you would have gone there. We had Michael Carrick when he was their best midfielder. We would have gone back in the Fergie days and gone, actually, who's that? Kane, we'll have him. And we'd have got him. Doubtful that that's going to happen. So, who do we go for? Who is the striker out there? It's a good question, and I'll be honest with you, I'm struggling for answers for that one. The main target seems to be a bit out of our reach, but I do think we need another striker. We do. Whether that, Anthony Martial's doing well at Sevilla, does he come back? I'm not sure. I think we've seen past, haven't we, where Jesse Lingard went on loan, did really well, came back, hasn't really got much of a look in. I know he started against Leeds, but that was his first start in the Premier League for United since January 2021, I think. Or 2020 it might have even been. I think it was 2 years, yeah. So, it's a good question. We'll have to have a look. Let's have a look. We'll have a look. We'll do that. On the channel, we'll have a look at the strikers, potential strikers that could come in. Someone's saying Lucas Hasbulla to replace Ronaldo. Ibn Taria says Man United should pick interest on Kane and Haaland. Vernon Hartung says, Jay, is there an update on our number 11? No, there isn't an update on what's happening on main screen. If there was, there is one. I will give you one. There isn't at the minute. I think that's an ongoing investigation as it stands. Ant L says, Jay, we need 2 strikers. Maybe we do. We need at least one, don't we, in the summer? P9K5 says, Jay, how many players do you think will leave United in the summer? Well, we know there's pains me to say it. I think Paul Pogba's going to leave. I keep saying that. And the more I see of him this season, the more, the more difficult it gets to face the prospect of losing him. Jesse Lingard, Edinson Cavani, I think is going to go, and he's out contract. I don't see him staying. If we don't get top 4, I think Ronaldo may be on his way. I don't see him sticking around. Maybe in Varane as well. Champions League Varane and Ronaldo staying around for the Europa. Don't know about that one. I think Phil Jones will go. Possibly Dean Henderson as well. And depending on what happens with his loan move, maybe even Donny van de Beek. There's quite a few players I think that will go in the summer. I think the players that are just out of contract, players that will be desperate to get some game time in before the World Cup. Don't forget, I mean, there's not much time between the start of next season and the World Cup, but there is a little bit. So there could be the chance, I think, for some players to put themselves in the managerial, the international manager's shop window, if you will, by getting a move and getting some game time if they're not getting it at Manchester United. We'll have to wait and see. What about Anthony from Ajax, says Antel? Yeah, we spoke about him the other day. There was a sort of a story during the rounds that Manchester United, or that Erik ten Hag liked Anthony and had praised Anthony, and if he comes to United and it looks like he's the favourite, or one of the favourites anyway, to come into to United after Ralph Rangnick, that he'd want to get Anthony. But when we did a bit of a sort of deep dive on the story, it was pure conjecture. It was the fact that he's a player that obviously he's got and he likes. Oh, if he comes to United, he'll want to bring him with him. I mean, there wasn't much to it. Talented kid, but we'll have to wait and see that. Clayton M says, on that, Jay, would you have Tammy Abraham? This is a good question. It's because we had this, we were linked sort of briefly with him a couple of seasons ago, or last season, I think it was. And a few people sort of laughed at it, but then I looked and it was like, I think the price was around 40 million quid. And I was like, you know what, as an option, I'm not against Tammy Abraham. If you look at his record, he's not set the world alight, but he's done well. I think his record, in the Premier League, he had one season, I think, where he scored 15 Premier League goals, which is decent return. Didn't quite match that the following season. I think last season it was around 6 Premier League goals, and then I think it was around 11 or 12 in all competitions. But he can get you goals. He is a talented striker. He's not young, but he's not old either. I think, what is he? Let me just have a little look here. He's 24, so youngish. Not bad of an option if he's not going to cost the world. I don't know what his situation is. I know he's gone to Roma. I don't know how much you'd have to pay to get him, whether he's got a buyout clause or any of that sort of stuff. I think you probably want to aim a little bit higher than Tammy Abraham. I mean, being brutally honest, if we have real aspirations of a title challenge and catching the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool and and Chelsea staying ahead of Chelsea, catching the likes of Chelsea as well, you're probably going to need someone a little bit more prolific than Tammy Abraham. But it's not the worst suggestion. Jonas Cartvet says Zlatan back with a winky emoji. Glenn F says no to Dembele. Yeah, we've been linked with Ousmane Dembele, haven't we? I'm not a massive fan. I think his injury record isn't great. And also, I am that guy. He should have scored against the Scousers to make it 4-0 when Barcelona were beating him 3-0 in the new camp, and that would have ended the tie properly. But he didn't, so I'm holding on to that. But yeah, we're middling with Ousmane Dembele, and I don't think that's the answer to any of our problems, if I'm being brutally honest. I don't think as well. We need a 9, though. He's not really a 9. I feel like I know he can play that, but I feel like he's more of someone who plays a sort of inverted winger or whatever. And we've got bags of them, haven't we? That's not. I don't think we need that. I think we need someone who can play as a striker. The type that you see from Ronaldo or Edinson Cavani. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up there. Make sure you are hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button, hitting that share button as well. We'll be back later on. We're going to have Premier League piss take. Sorry for the language. Premier League piss take. You know what it's called now anyway, don't you? Coming up later on. We'll also have the Paddock podcast. I think that'll be myself, Joe, I think Adam McCullough and Stephen House. I think the full gang should be there on that, so make sure you're checking that out as well. And if you're not doing, go and check out all the other videos. We've got all the post-match reaction from the Leeds game because you can never get enough of that. I've been Jay Moy. This has been the Paper Talk live from the studio. Thanks for watching.